channel.
May event 2025 continues with another one that's been around since the first event. I'm talking, of course, of the power match. In this one, it's all about who possesses the best powers. And in this one, we have to have a winner. I'll explain both feats from both opponents and then make the case for each one and then settle on one winner. Here we go. Representing DC Comics, the former first Wrath of God himself, Eclipso. He was the original living embodiment of God's wrath, as already emphasized, until God saw his corruption and had to trap him in a giant black diamond. Both his eyes admit different abilities. For the left can shoot out negative energy blasts that does some serious harm, while the other can paralyze you if he uses the black diamond as a sort of scope. He has like a tiny black diamond he uses as a scope to aim and shoot kind of situation. He can possess characters like Batman, Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Superman, and even change their powers if he wants to. He can absorb powerful beings like the Spectre. If anyone touches the heart of darkness, they can get easily corrupted by his influence, allowing him the chance to possess a body and do whatever he sees fit with them. He sees fit. Sorry if I said that all weird. He can even shut the lights off, so to speak, by using an eclipse to block out the sun for as long as he needs to. He played a magic version of giant chess with Darkseid and was left with a draw. This is impressive because Darkseid is known to be an evil genius, and not many can match his level of thinking. And of course, they also sparred every now and then. During a battle with Spectre, Phantom Stranger has to step in and give Spectre a diamond capable of trapping Eclipso. Without it, he would have never defeated Eclipso, as this was the only way to put him down once and for all. Eclipso corrupted the Justice League team, having them have the battle with the Suicide Squad. So they had to battle it out. Justice League was corrupted, battling out with the Suicide Squad. Imagine Suicide Squad had to be the heroes. He battled it out with pretty diverse group of people. We're talking Constantine, Darkseid, Phantom Stranger, Blue Beetle, Tracy 13, Donna Troy, the Spectre, Superman, Shazam, Batman, and even Wonder Woman. The list goes on and on. Took over at one point small population of South America. Alex Montez injected him into his bloodstream and was able to control him for a time using a series of tattoos. But once one was ruined during battle, Eclipso was capable of coming out, if not for Alex stopping that from happening by making the ultimate sacrifice. He was a member of the Black Adam's team for a time. Yeah, he was a member of Black Adam's team. That's crazy, right? Possessed in the body of Jean Loring, hopefully I'm saying that right, he almost convinces Mary Marvel to join forces with Darkseid. One point in the comics, he destroys Diablo's Island, takes a power of good and evil characters who possesses shadow-based powers. He then used that power to travel to another dimension for a new partnership. It was at this time where he set Spectre up by having an angel, hopefully I'm saying this right, Zarel, cry out for rescuing, which Spectre revived only to be taken out by Eclipso, and then when he absorbed all his powers, he took out Donna Troy. Also forgot to mention, he took the base where the Justice League reside, along with Jade and a few reserved Justice League members. Now, on this corner representing Marvel Comics himself, the God Symbiote, aka Knull. Again, to start with the first PowerPoint, he's known as the God of the Symbiotes. So we know he possesses godlike powers right off the jump. He has some insane power feats, being able to take over the body of some powerhouses in comics while having a weapon that can be shaped into anything he sets his mind to. He can technically blast stars. He continues to learn each battle and conquer as he endures it. Fought the Guardians of the Galaxy, practically walked all over Skrulls. If at one point you touched or possessed by a symbiote, he still has the ability to enslave your body to do his bidding. The Necro Sword, throws chunks of the moon. Okay, so it threw chunks of the moon. The Necro Sword threw chunks of the moon. That's crazy, right? Defeats Thor by jamming his Necro Blade into his chest. His first encounter with the Celestial, he pulled a sword out of the Celestial's palm, creating Necro Sword from his shadow. Because he created the Necro Sword, he was able to share that weapon with others, forming characters like Gore the God Butcher, who slayed several gods in his path. He took out a Celestial with one swing of his sword. He took out the Enigma Force, a sentient cosmic force. A sentient cosmic force. I'm sorry I said sentiment. Yeah, he took that out. He created the Void Knight. He swallowed the world in pure darkness to block out the sun. Silver Surfer has claimed he couldn't finish Knull for good even with all his cosmic force he has in his disposal. He even almost took over Surfer with one of his symbiotes and was about to make him his herald if not for his light abilities Silver Surfer possesses. Each symbiote is a piece of him, and with it he can form characters like Venom and Carnage. He can even form dragons powerful enough to take blasts from planets. Yeah, you heard me right, planets. He took out several Celestials and then used their lifeless bodies for his symbiotes to take control and harness the powers within the Celestials. More powerful than forces combined of the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four. He took out characters like The Thing, Cyclops, Captain America, and Storm. Sentry has been known to have the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns, and his other side, which consists of a very powerful entity known as the Void. Knull fought him and split him into two, ending the once powerful hero, while simultaneously taking the Void for himself to boost up his powers even further. It's safe to say this god can take his power to some universal threatening levels. Alright, so let's talk about how one could win the other. Now let's start off with Eclipso. Possession might definitely be in the cards if he goes for it. Sure, Knull has these symbiotes to help corrupt his own victims, but that's through a layer of armor, which Eclipso taps into the mind of an individual, and that can be much harder to remove off your body. If he possesses enough of the Heart of Darkness, he can take over Knull. And the combination of Knull's powers, there is no telling where his powers can reach. But the more important part would be Eclipso taking possession of him. The man held the title of God's Wrath, the kind of power speaking highly itself. Well, it speaks highly of itself. And being able to claim that means he's tough as nails to beat. Knull is incredibly impressive, but going up against a God's former wrath seems to be a battle you can't walk away from. If he finds himself dealing with too much, he can just corrupt a few heroes and villains from either world to help him out of a jam. One example is when he possesses characters like, let's say he wanted to possess the Hulk and use his to smash around Knull, or maybe he can corrupt one of the symbiotes like Venom. And since Eclipso can alter his powers, he maybe even be able to sever the ties between Venom and Knull. Perhaps if he gets a symbiote attached to his body, he might be able to reverse engineer his capabilities. Where Knull usually has controlled or harnesses the symbiote's powers, Eclipso might be able to have the frequency switched to him, granting all of Knull's symbiote powers and placing Knull in a weakened state. He might even be able, if he severed the connection to Knull, to take over the symbiotes and use them against Knull. In the comics, Knull eventually was overtaken by his symbiotes because they finally had enough of his leadership and trapped him in a giant-sized planet cage. Eclipso has that chance to do the same. A fist fight match, don't count him out. He has been compared to strength levels of Superman. Getting that sort of comparison is the highest honor, as Superman is a cosmic level threat in his own right. He can probably absorb his power. If he did it to replace the God's Wrath Spectre, if he was able to take if he was able to take Spectre's powers, and his powers are right up there, why wouldn't it be possible for Eclipso to take his powers? Knull's powers. Another dirty trick in the book is Eclipso would teleport other characters with light weapons or powers to appear at his location, and then leave the site but still be at safe distance, to see how his champions do against Knull. Worst case, Knull slaughters all of them, like Stargirl or Dr. Fate, maybe even Starlight, but does give Eclipso an opening if Knull is occupied with a bunch of heroes and villains, allows Eclipso one shot at an opening to lay him out. Best case, the light crew heroes / villains manage to put the hurting on Knull, and Eclipso teleports them to the original location and then finishes off whatever is left of Knull from the beating he just received. He can disconnect Knull's tie to his hive, allowing a weaker Knull to face a more powerful Eclipso. So he can just sever the tie somehow. He does have some magic abilities. Fire and Sonic Blast he can create, but that's if he can learn about, his weakness during battle. The Ebony Blade is a weapon Eclipso easily can gather, considering he can use other characters to do his bidding to retrieve the blade, and then Knull will have no chance of surviving. Let's just say this. This is probably the only Eclipse you would be dreading to see. Alright, now let's make the case for Knull. He can disconnect the tie with his black diamond. Take that from him and Knull has plenty of room to make light work of Eclipso. Knull might be able to use the black diamond to his favor, as it is made of darkness, something Knull is very fond of. He learns, even as he has lived for centuries, he can learn again. So he's still learning things, even as he's a wiser and older character. He can learn again about what drives Eclipso's powers and start chipping away from there, or find what his limits are and work from there. His abilities to learn is what also provides a fighting edge. Eclipso has darkness in his powers, something Knull could also harness for himself, as demonstrated when he took Sentry's Void right out of his body. A Necro Sword seems to offer more in battle than Eclipso's Black Diamond. The diamond appears to need to take aim and requires Eclipso's eye to trigger the energy blast within it, while Knull just has to wield it and can shift it into anything at any time, whether that's wings or shielding. He has a lot more to work with. Though Eclipso is an embodiment of God's wrath, Knull is a god entirely of his own field, being able to fight Celestials and defeat several heroes teams at once is a true testament of how much more he has to offer in this fight compared to Eclipso. He could just overpower him at some point during the fight or during their scuffle. If this became a war where both villains used other characters from their other realms to fight on their behalf in the battlefield, Knull will have the more muscle and team to aid in his war. While Eclipso doesn't have many characters he has possessed that would place fear into the spine of Knull. Bring the Celestials covered in symbiotes to show what real power looks like, and have them either smash whatever army defends Eclipso or just attack the main baddie himself. Either way spells doom for him. Use a symbiote to latch onto Eclipso. It might not seem possible, but believe me, it is. The example I give is Silver Surfer almost becoming Knull's herald, if not for the light power based energy he had. While that's not exactly Eclipso's power source, relying only on darkness for support. So in this case, there is no escape, granting Knull his new puppet. He can have parts of his body taken off of him and still continue on a fight, as he did when he faced Thor and surprised him with a stab in the chest, as Thor thought punching his jaw off of him would be enough. So as far as any muscle play, Eclipso doesn't stand a chance of doing enough damage to put him down once and for all. If you're a betting person, Knull is the best bet for y'all. Alright, ultimately though, there has to be one clear winner. And my pick is Knull, the god of symbiotes. Eclipso does have an impressive background on him, including God's Wrath at one point, but Knull has clearly had the better resume. He slayed a Celestial with one swing of his sword. He just conjured up with an encounterment one time. He ripped a hero in half and then took his power. This hero had the might of a million exploding suns. and has even taken over the body and minds of Avengers, Team Fantastic Four, and X-Men members all simultaneously. His power clearly has no limits as long as he is in darkness, while Eclipso every now and then relies on Black Diamond for a weaponry or to be hosted inside a body sometimes. Knull doesn't need a body or a diamond to make him powerful. He does that all by himself. That's it, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Appreciate you, No Press fam. Keeping it 800 subs. Peace. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoy our content, you know what you guys can do. You can share, you can like, or you can subscribe to our channel. When you guys subscribe to our channel, you know what you do. You guys are building our empire and allowing us to provide you guys with even much more greater content for you guys to enjoy. Shout out to all my content supporters. Not working together, but we like to give credit where credit is due. Ivan the Unstoppable for all the knowledge of comic feats, Watch Mojo for origins and for all the background videos, Comic Historian, Comics Explained, and key issues. Go ahead and check them out and tap into the world of comics by supporting other creators. Link to channels will be in the description below.